Hello, my name is Charles Webster Baer. Today is July 14th, 2011. I'm in Bend, Oregon, United States of America, and today I'm going to talk about the history of the universe. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to charleswebsterbaer.com or globalinternetgovernment.com. The universe began 16 billion years ago. Unless it's always been around, in which case it didn't begin, it wasn't created, it's always been here. Now, if the universe has always been here, then that means 17 billion years ago, the universe was so small that it was smaller than humans can comprehend. And therefore, to us, it didn't exist. It actually did exist, we just can't conceive of it because it's too small for us to comprehend. So that means that the universe either has always been around, or it was created 16 billion years ago. And we don't know which one it is. But it's a moot point because here we are. Anyway, 16 billion years ago, the universe was either created or it expanded to a size that we can comprehend. And it continued to expand. It was an energy plasma. And as it continued to expand rapidly, the energy plasma cooled and formed leptons and quarks, which expanded and cooled and formed electrons and protons, which expanded and cooled and formed hydrogen atoms. So now the universe is this huge expanding cloud thing of hydrogen. And after a while, dimensions emerged, and gravity emerged, and time emerged, and gravity started to act on the hydrogen, and gravity started to pull the hydrogen clouds together, and the pressure on these hydrogen clouds getting pulled together became so great, fission and fusion occurred, and that's how stars became. And stars created all the elements by fusing hydrogen atoms together and forming all the elements. And then like 5 billion years ago, our sun was created, and our solar system was created. The planets are basically just stuff that was part of the sun, but didn't fall all the way into it, so they just started orbiting it. So the Earth was created 5 billion years ago as like a lava blob orbiting the sun, and the lava cooled the crust of it on the outside, and gases escaped and formed oceans. And then 3 billion years ago, a bacteria was created, probably by accident, but perhaps by alien robots from the future. Anyway, these bacteria evolved. The DNA of the bacteria mutated, and mutations that benefit the life form are called evolution. So the bacteria evolved into algae. The algae evolved into seaweed. The seaweed evolved into plants on the land. And then the plants evolved into fish and reptiles, which evolved into mammals, which evolved into monkeys, which evolved into humans. So 3 million years ago, humans started running around. And this disrupted the deal because on Earth, you've got the northern and southern climates, which are cold, and the middle climates, which are desert, and the equator, which is hot and wet. So you had all these different life forms. Some could survive in one climate but not in another. And some could survive in another climate but not in another climate. Well, these monkeys, or these humans that are running around now 3 million years ago, they can survive in all the climates. So this disrupted the balance of life. Because now you've got a infestation of monkeys. And so these human people, they formed language, and they started to farm and use tools and domesticate animals. And they started to form laws and countries and cultures, civilizations. And 2,500 years ago, two different advanced civilizations were established, one in Greece and one in India. And even before that, I'm sure there was an advanced civilization in China, and maybe even Iraq. But anyway, in India, this cat named Buddha was born in Nepal, and he headed south to groove around in India. And he said, you know what, when I'm dreaming, my mind's fooling me into thinking this is real, so I can't trust my mind. So all I know is I exist. I don't know if the universe exists or not, because I can't trust my senses, because when I'm dreaming, they're fooling me. So that means that anything's possible. The universe may not exist, the universe may exist, but I know I exist. And it's a possibility, however remote, that I exist and the universe doesn't. So Buddha created this, discovered this philosophy of metaphysics or whatever. And then this information traveled east to China, where it took root, and it traveled west to the Mediterranean, where it got distorted and confused and formed religions, and all sorts of shenanigans took place after that. Anyway, then you've got the Industrial Revolution in England 300 years ago, and now you've got Europe with technology, and now Europeans use this technology to take over the planet. It's a big land grab. And then America's created 200 years ago, and Americans have this crazy idea about freedom. And so that's pretty groovy. And then, you know, everybody grooves on that, and that's the second millennium. Now we're in the third millennium. And in the second millennium, people weren't that bright, but they did have clean air, and they did have clean water, and they did have plenty of land. Well, in the third millennium, people are pretty smart, but they don't really have clean air. They don't really have clean water. There's really not much land. And these issues, these problems are growing more and more severe. So in the third millennium, what we're going to see is we're going to see countries kind of come together, like in Europe, under economic communities. And in order to do this, countries are going to have to pass legislation which, just do exactly like Europe did, like in South America, Southeast Asia, parts of Africa, and the Middle East. Countries that border each other are going to have to unify into economic communities. Eventually, there'll be one government, like the United Nations, that will rule the whole planet, and one economy and one currency, but that'll take, a couple centuries from, so that won't be for a few centuries from now, because that's going to take a long time. Anyway, assuming the human race survives this millennium and the next few millenniums, the human race will continue to evolve with technology, and then like in 10 or 20 million years from now, the human race will no longer be needed by the machines and the computers. They won't need people anymore in 20 million years. And so at that point, the human race might be, on the way out. But life will continue in the form of computers and spaceships, and machines will go colonize the rest of the universe. And that's the future, and that's the history of the universe. Thank you, and keep it real. And if you want to groove more on this, you can go, like I already said, to my websites, charleswebsterbaer.com or globalinternetgovernment.com. Adios.